Welcome back to CAA Football Media Day live here at M&T Bank Stadium. And we have the pleasure to be joined by former CAA alum, Tim Hightower at the University of Richmond, former running back. Good to see you, Tim. How are you enjoying the day so far?
This is awesome. It's awesome to be back. This is great, man. It's college football is here.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. It's exciting. Now, are you down in Richmond?
I'm in Richmond. Richmond's home for me and my family, so we drove down from Richmond last night.
That's great. We just had the Spiders on. They said you get to work out a little bit so you're still working out, trying to keep yourself in shape at the facility?
I have to. I've got 3 kids now, man, so I gotta stay active, man.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to be the dad that once had it,
Yeah.
because I got 2 boys, man, and I know I challenged my dad, right, when I got a certain age, so I got to stay on top of it for sure.
Well, for some of the folks, we had the opening ceremony, streamed live earlier, and you had a great, powerful message to the student athletes that were here. That for those that missed it, what was the main point you were trying to get across to, especially the student athletes that were in attendance today?
Yeah, for me, I really went back to where I was when I thought about speaking. Where was I as a young collegiate athlete, and just the perspective. The first point of just having a why, knowing. Why do I do what I do, and what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to get? And it's like sometimes if you can get a young kid or anybody to have it in perspective in mind, it will help. It would help all their decisions. And a lot of them are frustrated. They're competitive. Some feel like they should be at a bigger school or a coach at a bigger school. But no, when you have a why, when you understand why you're there and what you want to accomplish, take advantage of this great opportunity that you have, the guys that you have, the locker room that you have, the experience that you have. So that's really the message I wanted to drive home.
It was 150 years of college football this year.
Wow.
That's a long time, right? And being a guy that played college football in the NFL myself, I know what football did for me.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what college football did for you.
It developed it forged a work ethic. It's one thing to do the workouts, but when you're talking about on top of school, you're talking about early morning, late morning, late evening. That work ethic, and especially I'm partial to FCS now. It was 1AA, because it was never good enough. We knew we always had to do a little bit more. You had to do a little bit extra to be recognized. But I think it was great. It was just that work ethic that was forged that I need as a father, I need in business, I need in the NFL, I need it for the rest of my life, man. So college football, just the lessons from adversity, the work ethic, going through things from staying up all night, finishing the paper, to getting up at 6 o'clock doing a workout with your buddies. All of those lessons, man, those were huge for me.
I think my favorite question has been to these former CAA football student athletes that have come back that played in the NFL. We've had Nick Boyle, who plays for the Ravens right now. We had Arthur Moats here last year from James Madison. And of course, now you here from University of Richmond. So I asked them in the past, the schedule comes out, of course, the cliche, we'll take a game at a time. But I know there were some games you circled on there. Who were those teams that you really were like, oh, I can't wait to play them? Yeah,
for sure. Well, first ones, I'm excited now. You're always excited to play the 1A, right? The FBS.
Yeah.
You want to see who you got because at the end of the day, that's how you really kind of compare yourself. You measure up. You look to see who's on the schedule, who are their preseason All-Americans or rankings. This is how I'm really going to get to measure myself up. So you look at that FBS, and then in conference, you look at who was the top dog last year, right? Who was that? Whether it was James Madison, whether it was William & Mary, Villanova. Who was that top dog? I got to knock out the top dog. As a Spider, William & Mary has been that, one of the longest rivalries in the South. But really, I told someone last night, JMU has turned into an intense rivalry. So I had to make sure when it was that week, you're ready to go. This is not going to be a pretty week. It's all business. Everyone get your sleep. No, I don't want to hear any extracurricular activities. We made sure we were ready to go that week. So you definitely marked some games on the schedule.
As you transitioned into the NFL, you're coming out of Richmond, an FCS or a 1AA school, like it was called when we played, right? What was that like? Do you have that same chip on your shoulder? Do you feel like, you were drafted, right? So they obviously recognized that you had the ability to do it. But when you got into that locker room, did you feel like you had to prove yourself a little bit more?
100%. I mean, and that was you're constantly reminded of, again, that where you came from.
Right.
When you're being compared, even the interview process with some of the coaches, the question of, well, the competition. Well, he did it, but it was a competition. And so as soon as you get there and you see the Florida States and the Clemsons, and it's just a certain aura and mindset that you're just like, man, I've worked harder than these guys, whether you did or you didn't.
Right.
But it was just a certain perspective that I knew I had to be that much better in training camp. I had to be that much better. I had to do that much more to stand out, to be recognized, because there were a lot of people who I felt like didn't feel like I deserved to be on this stage, and I hadn't proven myself yet. So, but it was great for me. Again, I think it was great for me. I don't know how it would have impacted me if I had gone to a larger school, and so I'm thankful for it.
Now, obviously, a lot of players from this league have played in the NFL or are still even currently playing in the NFL. Is there do you ever run into some of the CAA or the conference? Is there like an alumni group when you guys run into each other, some guys that you played against in college from this conference? And is there kind of like a chip on your shoulder from all? Do you all have a similar chip on your shoulder when you've gotten to that next level?
I don't know, but that's a great idea that I'm going to look into now. You've given me a great idea. I'm going to run with it eventually.
There you go. I need a patent in there.
Yeah.
But no, but seriously, there is. It's one of those unspoken things. I told a few guys in the locker room, I'm pulling for you, except when you're playing Richmond.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't look. Respect to all collegiate football players, but I don't know what SEC football is like. I don't know what any of the other conferences. And so there's just kind of like this unspoken, whether it's in the locker room, whether you see guys in the airport, different parts of town, training, wherever it is, there's a respect level. It's already playing at this level, at the NFL level. It's not easy to get there and to do it. But when there's a guy who's come from, the CAA or FCS conference, you understand how rare it is and how special it is. And I think there's this unspoken just respect that we have when you hear where a guy's from. And it's special, man. It's definitely a bond in the locker room. And like I said, when you see guys where they are, you knew the road. They took the road less traveled, and it's special, and you respect that.
What are you up to now?
Man, chasing. I'm surprised my kids aren't here. Chasing 3 kids around, man, and I do some commercial real estate there in Richmond, and really, I try to stay around Richmond to make sure I just keep my face and show those guys. We didn't have a lot of alumni coming back, right? And I think that's one of the things that I took from some of the guys in the locker room and some of the programs at Miami and the bigger schools. Those guys came back. Those young guys, they saw veterans, they saw guys coming back, and they saw their work ethic. They saw their leadership. They were able to learn those things. And so I said to myself that, hey, when I got to a certain point, I would make sure that I was available, that if young guys needed to ask me questions about athletics, about life, that I would be there. So, Richmond's home base for us, and I'm here.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure listening to you earlier on. A great message to the student athletes that are here today. And, good luck with the Spiders this year, watching them as they for their 2019 season, and hope to see you around soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to step aside.